What's happening, guys? It's your buddy Griz here, and how the heck are ya? Doing good? I'm doing great myself. I spent quite a bit of time over the weekend playing Battlefield Hardline, as there is finally some activity in the PC world, and there's finally a server available for just the criminal activity and robbery DLC maps. Thank God. Sure has been nice being able to play the new maps, and just the game in general, I guess, ever since the Robbery DLC was released. It's definitely revived the game in my, and probably many other people's, hearts and minds. If you guys would like to hear my thoughts and impressions on the DLC overall, then make sure you check out my last video where I took a look at all the new maps and some, not all, but some of the new weapons. But for this video, I wanted to talk specifically about what I think is hands down the best new weapon added to Hardline in the Robbery DLC, and heck, I'll even go as far as saying it could be the best weapon in the game right now. I'm speaking about none other than the MDC Assault Rifle. This thing is a beast, and we're starting things off here with a nice little 13 kill streak on Precinct 7. So the MDC is modeled after the real-life Desert Tech MDR, which stands for Micro Dynamic Rifle. The MDR is supposed to be currently in development, set for production in 2016, so that's pretty cool. A weapon that's not even being made yet. Right on. The in-game weapon is actually named after the CQB version of the assault rifle, but apparently it's modeled after the full-on MDR assault rifle. So in essence, it should be called the MDR, but we're not here to argue over semantics, right? Surprisingly enough, there is already a stat chart for the MDC over on Synthic.com. Man, those guys are on the ball over there. Kudos to all the good people over at Synthic for that. But yeah, it's stat time. So the MDC will do its max damage of 36 inside 30 meters before damage begins to drop off, ending at 50 meters where it will do its minimum damage of 24. The MDC fires at a rate of 750 rounds per minute and has a 30-round magazine plus your one in the chamber for 31 total. And its reload times are 3.6 seconds when empty and 2.6 seconds with a round still in the chamber. Finally, the MDC's bullet velocity is 600 meters per second, and the recoil, which is a drawback, I would put in the high category. It's comparable to, say, the Scar H's recoil. So the MDK does have some pretty high recoil, making this weapon a little harder to use, a little harder to master, but once you get used to it and you're able to counter the recoil even just a little bit, as I come to the end of my streak here while reloading, of course, but yeah, even if you can counter the recoil on this weapon a little bit, coupled with burst firing, the MDC definitely has some massive killing power. Those damage statistics say it all. I mean, 36 at its maximum, which is way higher than all the other assault rifles in the game previous to the DLC. I say previous to the DLC because Robbery included 3 new assault rifles that are sort of more high damage weapons. There's this one, the RPK, and the M1 that all do 36 max damage. So that's pretty awesome, and it definitely gives us a lot more options when it comes to choosing weapons as the operator class. Not to mention the fact that it'll do that 36 damage up to 30 meters, so you've also got some distance to play with here, making the MDC super effective at range, but it'll do work in close quarters as well. It's just those reload times that you really have to watch out for, like what just happened to me a couple seconds ago. The MDC does take some time to reload, even on the short, and I definitely got caught with my pants down there, and a lot more while using this weapon. So just be smart about reloads. Remember to use your secondary if possible. If you don't think you have time to reload, guys, switch to your secondary. And also, of course, get to cover as much as possible. The only other thing I'd say you need to watch out for on the MDC is the fact— I almost missed that guy. I thought he was a teammate for a second. The only thing you need to watch out for is the fact that it does have a significant spread increase per shot, so try not to lay on the trigger if you're engaging a target at range. Instead, focus on, say, 1 to 3 bullets at a time, firing in bursts. Bullet velocity and your rate of fire are both good on the MDC as well, so you don't have to worry too much about anything with regards to leading targets. And oh, look at that! We have an imposter in our midst. I just killed Griz. Griz killed Griz. What do you know? What do you know about that? But as I was saying, your bullet velocity and your rate of fire are both good, so you don't have to worry too much in regards to leading targets at range. and you can also compete with any other assault rifle basically in close. Now, if you go up against a Scorpion in close, you might not fare so well, but for the most part, this weapon can be used at all ranges. Mostly what amazes me about the MDC is that the time to kill is very short. It drops guys super quick, and once you get a hang of that recoil, you can do some serious work with it. For attachments, I quite liked running the suppressor because I find it extremely important to stay off the map if at all possible in Hardline, just as a general rule. When you're not using a suppressor, you want to stay on that streak you're on. I find you always end up getting rushed by like 5 guys at once, since they can see you pretty clearly on their minimap whenever you fire. So the suppressor is definitely one of my favorite things to run with. I'm happy to say it works really well on the MDC. For my grip, I like the angled, as I do a lot of tap firing with the MDC, and for accessory, I usually tend to lean towards the extended mags, as I find it's always a good choice. But I've been using the AP tracer rounds as well lately, as you can see in this clip here. I'm definitely liking them a lot. But does anyone know if there's any disadvantage to using them? Like, does anyone know if they add recoil or not? I feel like they do, but I could be totally wrong on that one. Does anyone know if they do, and if they don't, is there any disadvantage at all to the tracer rounds? Because I can't see one otherwise. But finally, your optic is obviously your choice as always, but I would recommend sticking to the short range optics, as the recoil might be a little too much for a medium range. Can't say for sure though, as I haven't even tried this weapon with a medium range yet, so don't quote me on that. To sum things up a little bit here, the MDC is quite simply the best new weapon added to the game in my humble opinion. I've tried all the other weapons now, and this one just jumped out at me right away. I've logged 205 kills in just over an hour and a half of playtime, so I'd say that's not too shabby. It's a brand new weapon, and it's already climbed to number 6 on my top weapons list, right behind the also newly added F2000, which is also extremely good. But I'm gonna go out on a limb and say it, the MDC is the best weapon overall out of all the new additions. And you may very well see some videos from other YouTubers soon that will say the exact same thing. Heck, the MDC could eventually be called the actual best weapon in the game, as far as I feel about it right now. But that's pretty much all I have to say on the matter. Hope you enjoyed the video, friends. If you did enjoy it and you feel like showing me a little love, you can do so by clicking that like button down below. Let me know what you guys think about the MDC, or which new weapon you think is the best down in the comments section. To anyone who may be new to the channel, why don't you go ahead, be my buddy, and hit that subscribe button, guy. My name's Griz, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.